All right, so that happened. Eagles win 25-11 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're just gonna jump right into it. Before we do, leave a like on the video if you do enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Eagles fans, and turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live on the channel. That game was quite the roller coaster, wasn't it? Because up until the Eagles got that safety, I don't think any of us felt safe about this game because there was legitimate concerns throughout it. But here are a few positives right off the rip that we could take away from this game. One, the play from the trenches on both sides of the football was outstanding in this game. The other positive, Brian Johnson called a more aggressive offense. I didn't think the play calling was spectacular or even close to perfect, don't get me wrong, but this was probably the best play calling game that we've seen from Brian Johnson thus far as the offensive coordinator. Other positives, the Eagles are finding ways to win still without them firing on all cylinders here. That's like the main thing that I want to mention here. The Eagles are somehow 3-0 despite them not firing on all cylinders. So the question's going to be now, can they reach that next level and reach that level that they were at last year? I don't know, and I don't know about having that conversation right now because I truly don't know when it's going to happen, but it's hard because I'm not trying to make excuses, but the schedule is not really favoring them in any way. They play a Sunday night game, or not Sunday night, they play a Sunday afternoon game, a late afternoon game, then turn around to play a Thursday night game, and then they have a long stretch and have to wait till Monday this week. So the schedule has just been all over the place for the Eagles, so it's been chaotic, but at the same time, they need to start clicking. Apparently, Jalen Hurts had the flu also playing this game, so I don't know how much that had to do with anything, but regardless, this game just freaking it made me have a headache. We'll talk about it, but yeah, the Eagles start off on defense in the first quarter. There was a couple of runs for the Buccaneers and a pass to Godwin that ended up leading to a first down. And then the secondary looked brutal, and they got bailed out by between Mayfield overthrowing the football and then Mike Evans not being able to catch the football. That was before the rain too, where he was just dropping the football. So yeah, the Eagles end up forcing a punt, and they end up getting the football. Swift had a big carry, picking up right where he left off, which he certainly did in this game. And A.J. Brown had a big catch and run for a first down, so it was nice to see him getting involved early because we know what happened last week, even though it feels like forever ago, where there was a little bit of an altercation, if you will, on the sideline between Hurts and Brown. So it was nice to see Brown get involved early as he had another first down after. And then Zaccheaus ended up getting shut down on a play there in the end zone as they decided to try and go for it on fourth down with a run from Gainwell and got denied. I loved the aggression of going for it on fourth down there, even though they were in field goal range. But I just don't like the play calling there. I really didn't. I don't understand why, if you're going to go with a run play, why are you using Gainwell when DeAndre Swift has been as good as he's been recently? So that just didn't make sense to me. Then for the defense, they ended up allowing a first down, but then Cunningham ended up forcing a loss of yards, and then Reddick, the refs were not great in this game at all. Reddick was being held trying to get to Mayfield, but they didn't even call the penalty. But thankfully, Mayfield was running for his life, and he threw it out of bounds, and they end up forcing a punt regardless. So, yeah, the refs were brutal at points in this game on both ends. I'm not saying that it was a one-sided thing, but because there were times where Lane Johnson was jumping early on plays and they didn't call it. You're seeing those clips go around on Twitter, and there's really no way around it. There are bad missed penalties, but that was one right there on the Buccaneers. That was a bad missed penalty. Then the offense on their second drive, huge punt return by Covey, by the way. He had himself a very, very good day, and that's something that's rare to say because he has not been the best with punt returns, and that was one of the questions that we had going into the year, which is weird that special teams is a concern. But yeah, 52-yard punt return there. Swift had a huge first down. Swift with another run on third down for a first. Stoll was wide open, but Hurts had a bad throw. This happened twice where seemed like miscommunication here, which one of them led to an interception, but I don't know what happened, but there was a couple questionable things with Hurts throwing the football. Dickerson then took a penalty that made it 2nd and 15. Hurts then with another bad throw to Goddard in the same drive. And then Hurts was pressured and had to throw the football away. So they'll settle for a field goal to make it 3-0. Then on the defensive side, on the third drive for the Buccaneers, Blankenship had a very good play to stop a run there. And then they ended up getting a sack as well. Mayfield had to throw the ball away as well because Reddick ended up blitzing, and that forced a 3-and-out. And this quarter took forever, but the offense started again for their third drive for the Eagles. And Gaines took a penalty there. He ended up taking a hold there on the Buccaneers. Hurts then with a throw to the sideline to Smith, who hauled it in. And then we go to the second quarter finally, which, again, that quarter was brutally long. But it got longer throughout the game, though, these quarters. This game was painfully long at times. And, yeah, the Eagles couldn't convert after they were forced to punt. And the Bucs were just having a field day with them with the blitzing. It ended up not mattering later on because Jalen Hurts started to be a little more calm in the pocket, but it was a little ugly early on in the game, especially. Then for the Buccaneers' fourth drive, Blankenship missed a tackle, which led to a 15-yard gain. The defensive line forced some pressure, but Mayfield ended up finding Evans for a first because the secondary was just not looking good. Like, I just don't know what's going on right now with the secondary. Like, even Bradbury and Slay just don't look sharp right now, and it's definitely a big concern. Blankenship probably had the best game out of anyone in the secondary, and even then, he didn't have a perfect game. There were times where he looked all over the place, but the rest of the secondary looked lost. And then don't get me started on Job. They're going to miss Maddox for this season, and it's going to suck. But Godwin then got a first. Again, the secondary looked brutal. Eagles were about to force a field goal, but then Job gets called for a pass interference penalty. Baker then thankfully overthrew one to Godwin in the end zone, so they got a little lucky there. Sidney Brown then with a huge stop, as he ended up not even playing pretty much after this play because he ended up getting injured as well, because that's just the way this goes. And yeah, they ended up kicking a field goal that tied the game at 3. And then the fourth drive for the offense, Goddard on a third picked up a first down. The refs missed a clear false start on that play, but did not matter. And then the offensive line did some good work as they ended up getting a first down along the sideline. Goddard ended up taking a false start, but then Zacchaeus ended up getting a huge touchdown. Hurts being calm in the pocket, and he throws a dime to the end zone. That made it a 9-3 game. Elliott nails the extra point to make it 10-3. And then Blankenship ended up getting a pick as Baker Mayfield threw the ball late. So all of a sudden, the Eagles go back to work on offense. And it's like, okay, we're really feeling it now. Now the Eagles need to finish these drives. They need to start actually capitalizing on these opportunities. And what happens? Jalen Hurts throws a pick right to White, and did not matter because they ended up doing the push play, which got a first. And yeah, it didn't matter because, again, Hurts threw a pick right in the hands of White, and just some ugly throws. The defense then comes back. Carter and Cox making Baker Mayfield run for his life out there, which was nice. Jalen Carter, and then forces a fumble too. Bradbury recovers it. Jalen Carter is going to be a star in this league, and we're seeing it early already. Like, I cannot even express how much I'm loving this. And obviously, off the field questions had him drop, but the Eagles have him just land in their lap there at that 9th overall selection. And wow, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for teams. I'm loving what we're seeing from Jalen Carter. And then the offense, again, just annoying because they ended up having a couple good runs. Brown ended up getting a catch there as well. And yeah, they ended up just being all over the place. Hurts was running also instead of them trying to throw. And Yeah, regardless, it resulted in a field goal because the Eagles kept marching down the field but couldn't finish drives, and that made it 13-3. The half ends, but my assessment of that, and Nick Sirianni agreed with me, they could not finish drives at all, and that was the main problem of that quarter. And they did a little better in the second half, or that half I meant, not quarter, but the half. They did better in the second half a bit, but still, I mean, they couldn't finish drives. Hurts was concerning me a bit. He got better as the game went along, though. I thought the trench work was great throughout the entire game, but that's something that I'd noticed in the first half, especially the officiating. Pretty bad. And then, yeah, the secondary just didn't look great. But we go to the third quarter, and the Eagles start on offense. Hurts finds Smith for a short pass, then Hurts ended up getting a first down on a run. Brown was getting involved. He got a first. Goddard then was connected on a pass. Then Swift gets a huge run for a first. Swift with a couple more gains for some first downs. Brown couldn't catch one that was high to him in the end zone. Hurts didn't have a choice but to throw that one high, but man, he needed to haul that one in. But thankfully, the Eagles end up getting the touchdown as Hurts ends up getting in on the push play, 20-3, and it makes me so happy every time they do that play and it's posted on Twitter, seeing every other fan base cry because they wish they had the offensive line that the Eagles had. Then for the defense, Palmer ended up picking up a first down. Evans dropped the pass yet again. Problem for him all night. And then the line put pressure on Mayfield. He aired it up and it went nowhere as the defense forced a punt yet again because this defense is so freaking good, and especially the defensive front. I can't say enough good things about this defensive front. I really can't. The offense on their 8th drive, Hurts ended up getting in on a push play again on a 3rd and 1. Swift ended up having a big gain as well past midfield. Dickerson, though, unfortunately got hurt on that play. He didn't return for the rest of the game. I'm hoping that was just precautionary because of the score of the game, but it was a knee injury, which scares me because knee injuries are never good, especially because it wasn't really significant contact either. Hurts then tried throwing it to Smith in the end zone, but unfortunately that ended up being picked off as Delaney ended up making just an insane pick. I can't even be mad at Hurts about that one. That interception was just an unbelievable interception. But then it didn't matter because it was at the 1 yard line, and Morrow and Davis eat the offensive line for the Buccaneers apart, and they get a safety to make it 22-3. So the defense again continues their work. And then the offense, Covey with another good return. AJ Brown had some huge catches and gains. That was the end of the quarter, so it went into the 4th. AJ Brown drops one in the end zone because the Eagles just could not. This game easily could have been a blowout if they just finished their drives and had a couple catches in the end zone. Then they tried to fake the push play on 4th down, but they couldn't end up doing it because Jalen Hurts ended up tripping, and they had to settle for a field goal to make it 25-3. Then the 9th drive for the Bucs, the defense did not look that great. Evans just was eating them apart with some big gains. And then Tampa also, I thought, got away with a penalty there. They even mentioned it on the broadcast. As Godwin gets it to the 1 yard line, and then Mayfield finds Evans in the end zone as the defense just looked brutal on that drive, especially Slay and Blankenship. Again, I did not really like the game from the secondary at all. And then Godwin ended up catching one for the 2-point conversion, so that made it 25-11. And then the Eagles had a very good final drive to end the game as there was still a lot of time left on the clock. It was beyond the 2-minute warning, and they ended up finishing it off on this drive, which was nice to see as Hurts found Goddard for a first down. Hurts then with another first on the push play. Hurts underthrew to Gainwell, which would have been a huge gain of yards there. Brown then ended up getting a first on a 3rd and long play, which scared me because I didn't want the Bucs getting the ball back. Smith then got a first down from a short pass. Brown then picked up a first down, and that was a nail in the coffin as the Eagles ended up winning the football game and improving to 3-0. My takeaways from this game: DeAndre Swift, very, very good yet again. AJ Brown, a couple missed catches that he should have had, but still, I'm glad that he got more involved than we've seen in the past few weeks. Smith, he wasn't too involved in this game, but he still had a couple of nice little plays. Jalen Hurts, though, a lot of people are freaking out about him. I'm one of those people. I won't lie. I'm very concerned from what we've seen from Jalen Hurts thus far, but we just gotta hope that there's another level here that he could unlock to his game, and hopefully it's rapidly, because they desperately need him to. But even then, look at the score. They're still demolishing teams. Granted, the offense isn't putting up the most insane amount of points. The defense is really doing a lot of the lifting at times, but they need Hurts to find his game and quickly on the passing side of things. But I think part of it also has to do with Brian Johnson not calling the best plays. I'm not giving up on Jalen Hurts because he was so good last year, but he's going to need to turn it around. There's no way around it. The secondary is going to need to pick up the play. They didn't look good enough. The trenches, though, easily the best part of this game. Easily the best part of the game was the work in the trenches by this team. But let me know your thoughts in the game in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you guys. Don't forget to leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you guys are new, especially if you're Eagles fans. Turn on your notifications so you know when I upload or go live next. And I will see you guys in the next one.